Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, All Things Taylor, just in time for another wicked Q&A Wednesday with yours truly. Before we dive right in, because it's long overdue, I would love for you guys to just help me out and like this video, hit that smash thumbs up button to get more fans in on the algorithm for the Taylor Army. Yay! We are growing. Huge shout out to the 100+ new followers we have this week. You guys are in for a wild and crazy ride. So go ahead and like this video and we're going to get right into our questions, and for your chance to be featured next week on next week's Q&A Wednesday, make sure you comment below with your own questions. Yay! Okay, we have several from Twitter today, one from Instagram, and the rest of y'all are from YouTube. You guys are holding down the fort, so I'm super stoked. Okay, let me see here. This one is from Twitter. They asked me, is there anybody in any of the companies as far as NWA, Ring of Honor, AEW, Impact Wrestling, or WWE that I would really like to work against or with in a match? So there was just so many. My mind was like, honey. So I wrote down a few and then I was like, wow, this is like a really intense question. I could go on and on. So I kind of capped myself off. I think it would be really cool in WWE with a tag team with Liv Morgan. I really dig her vibe. I think we could come up with something really fun and creepy and edgy and cool and still fit it into the PG platform for the WWE. And I also think that I would do some really good stuff with Priscilla Kelly at NXT along the same line. So I think that there's a lot of really cool potential there, and it's different and it'll push the envelope while still appealing to the PG sponsors who put in a lot of money to the WWE. I think right now on the independents, and she's in Ring of Honor and doing stuff with AEW as well, I think I would have really good in-ring chemistry with Alex Gracie at the Pink Dream. I love writing about her. I kind of want to just put myself in her pocket and lift her up whenever she's down, because like I just see so much potential in her, and I just want to be one of those people that, you know, I'm like, girl, it's gonna be okay. Who cares if somebody said no to you? That wasn't for you right now. It's okay. You know, rejection is not permanent. It is rejection, I like to say, is just a redirection, and sometimes in the long run you'll be glad that that didn't work out because something better was waiting for you, honey. Like, Taeler Hendrix has got you. And that's just the kind of friend that I am. Like, I'm a very, like, super loyal. I'm like the Meredith Grey type of friend. Like, I don't have a whole like big friend group. I keep my group very, very small. I'm very, very private, but if you were a part of that group, I am savage for you. I'm always in your corner, and no matter what, right or wrong, I'm always by your side. That's just the type of person that I am. So I want to be that for her, because I just feel like she needs it, and she has so much talent. She doesn't realize how amazing she is. Okay, anyways, I would love to work with Camille in a match, because I feel like I could sell and bump so well for her that I feel like I could make her look like an even bigger, crazier, ultimate badass NWA Women's Champion. And I have no problem doing that. Like, I think like it takes a real talent to be able to make yourself look good by making other people look good. I think that's a lost art in today's wrestling, because everyone's afraid to sell and job out and whatever. It's like, anyways, that's a different story. I would love to work with Lady Frost. I love her high-flying capabilities. I would love to be able to be that base for her. See, again, I'm like, oh, I want to sell for her. I think it would be really cool. I don't know, it would almost be like two X-Men characters like clashing, but instead of a comic book, it would be in the ring. So that's kind of cool. I would love to work in a storyline with Lana. I feel like I could be a really good heel for her, and really antagonistic and bully-ish and brutish and evil, and I think I could do some really good stuff that would really put her over big time as an ultra huge mega baby face. And again, I would sell my butt off for her, making her look like a bajillion dollars. I would like to work with Britt Baker. I think I would be a really good fit in a faction with her and Rebel. I would even go under a mask. You know, and just kind of like being an enforcer character for her. And I've actually already written like a huge storyline for that. That could take like 6 months to a year of stuff, so that would be really fun. I would love to work with Becky Lynch in a tag team. I think that there's a lot of stuff that I could do with her. That would just be so awesome, because I've been following her and rooting for her since she was in Shimmer, and that's taking it way, way back. I would love to work in a storyline against Melina. I think I would have so much fun with that, especially in like an authentic Mexican lucha libre crowd. I think they would eat it up. It would be so much fun. Since she's so flexible and I'm flexible, and I think that there's like a lot we can do. It could almost be like the revival of like Cheerleader Melissa versus Mischief, which is also taking it back quite a bit. I think there's a lot of potential. At Impact, I would love to work with Taeler Wilde. I really enjoyed watching her before I was a knockout, and I was so excited when I was signed, even though I wasn't supposed to be signed. Like, I didn't know that at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to work and learn from all these crazy, awesome knockouts. Like, I was so stoked. And then it was like they were all leaving, and I was just like, my first day was Angelina Love's last day. I think Madison Rayne was dipping out for a while as well. Sarita was gone. Taeler Wilde had already left, and all this other stuff, and I was just like, but, oh no. And what would be really cool about that is I think I was a replacement for Taeler Wilde, either her or Tenille. When I was like 2.5, maybe 3 years into my career, not even, maybe less, and I got booked because they got a WWE or something gig at that time, and so this company in New York had me wrestle Awesome Kong, and I took their place, and the booker still had me win, even though I like begged him to have me lose because I was like, I was a nobody, and I was like, why would you have this nobody who's a replacement win against Awesome Kong? It makes no sense. And I was just so intimidated. I was so green. She carried me throughout the whole thing. I'm actually going to be writing a piece for Awesome Kong, you know, under the whole Thank You Awesome Kong banner. But yeah, so that would be kind of cool to bring that full circle and then wrestle her, and it could be like Taeler versus Taeler. And then in AAA in Mexico, I would love to wrestle Lady Shani. I think she just has, gosh, she's just so amazing. Like, her and Fabi Apache are just crazy awesome. Like, they are the epitome. They personify everything that it means to be a luchadora, like a true authentic luchadora. So I have so much respect for them. Okay, I had to stop myself right there, guys, because like seriously, we're already at, like after 7 minutes in. So I told you guys that question was deep. Like, I could go so far. Someone asked me, have I retired? And this was also from Twitter. No, I get that all the time. I have not retired, guys. Like, I have not made an announcement saying that I retired. So no, the answer is no. No, I'm just, you know, showing you guys a lot of the other things that I am capable of as a talent, which I think is amazing. And by the way, I hope you guys are loving my Goonies shirt. Goonies never say die. I'm pretty sure I said that in a promo when I was younger. Another question from Twitter was, what do I think of AEW having Allie and Penelope Ford as a tag team? I had quite a few thoughts. First off, I was like, well, first off, I hope that it's like a long-lasting partnership, because I did not like that Allie's had like 18 gimmicks since she started at AEW. Like, one minute she's, you know, wearing like this pink gear and wrestling on her own and looking like a crazy awesome action figure, like live action wise, and then, you know, then she's randomly the Butcher and the Blade, but there wasn't really an explanation for it, so if you weren't an indie wrestling fan, you didn't really know. And then all of a sudden she was a part of like the thing with Brandy Rhodes, and then all of a sudden that was done, and then I felt like there was something going on between Allie and QT Marshall, and she was taking photos with an apple, and then all of a sudden, like, you didn't see her for a little bit, and then she was back as the bunny for the Butcher and the Blade. And then she was like solo, not really wrestling, just valeting. Then she started wrestling again as just herself, you know, the bunny Allie, and now she's with Penelope Ford. So I hope that this is like more long-term for her, because I think it's doing her a disservice with the instability. Like, yeah, you have to reinvent yourself, but I think it was a little too much, a little too fast, and Allie has so much potential. She's so much better than that with a lot of experience. I think she was wrestling like 2.5 years before I started. And then Penelope Ford, anything that gets Penelope Ford back on my TV, I'm all for it, because, you know, she was one of the first women signed besides Britt Baker, and then like she was starting to be used, and then all of a sudden she was kind of forgotten about for like a long time, and girls that weren't even signed to the company were getting used way more than Penelope Ford. And I was like, well, if she's on payroll, like, shouldn't we be doing something with her, especially if she's not recovering from a surgery or whatever? So I am super stoked to see them together and to see them on TV. You know, I was supposed to tag with Allie back in the day, so you guys know I'm a huge fan of tag team wrestling. So anything that gets these girls on AEW TV more consistently, I love it. I'm all for it, and I hope that this is the beginning of AEW actually giving the women their own women's world tag team titles. All the other companies have done it. The women's division is so big at AEW. There's so much potential for it. Like, I can seriously see Thunder Rosa with her own partner, Penelope Ford and Allie as a tag team, and then gosh, what is her name? Oh my god, Anna Jay. Thank you. Gosh, I missed that girl. Anna Jay, put her with Tay Conti. I think that's going to be a dynamite team. Like, there's just so much depth and potential there. So all in all, I really like it. Happy to see them back on TV and being used. Awesome. Underrated women's wrestling matches. This is from my YouTube channel. I couldn't really think of any right off the bat. I honestly couldn't. As far as not necessarily matches, but women, I think Victoria is so underrated. I'm really PO'd that she's not officially in the Hall of Fame yet. I want to see that happen. I think a very underrated match that comes to mind is one of mine. The 4-way women's ladder match. It was the main event for OVW TV. I was the only girl in that match that was released from Impact Wrestling. All the other girls were still knockouts, and I had a lot to prove. I wanted to like prove myself, and it was the first time the women were the main event for OVW TV since OVW was a WWE territory and developmental system. And the last time that happened, the last time the women were the main event was, check this, Beth Phoenix versus Katie Lee Burchill for the OVW Women's Championship. So I was like super honored to be in that position and to be the only girl that was released in that match. And I think it was like so low-key underrated. There was so much good old school storytelling in the match and so many little nuances that people totally missed, and like I was super proud to be part of that. So I would say that was definitely underrated. Another person on YouTube asked me what I think about Nikki Ash kind of continuing the legacy of heroes, the likes of, you know, Molly Holly when she was doing her superhero gimmick, and obviously the Hurricane, Shane Helms and stuff. I really like it. I think it's very smart of her and WWE for taking her up on this idea that she created. It appeals to kids, it's PG, it's fun, it revives her because, you know, she needed something new at that point. Nobody else was doing it. That's another plus. The only downside I have with it is I feel like her gear is doing her gimmick a disservice. I feel like they could have done a better job because they have such amazing designers. Like, they are the top of the designers. I had one lady from WWE make me gear, and ironically enough, I see another girl who got gear made by that same lady, and it looks so much like mine. It's so crazy. I'm just like, I see you. We know what's up. And it's like, you can't not know because the same lady that made mine years before you made yours. So it's like, anyway, I digress. So I feel like they could have done more to make her outfit a little bit more feminine, without being too sexy, because it is a kid-friendly gimmick, because it's going to make WWE so much money. But you also, you know, you want to embrace her femininity, because Nikki is a beautiful woman. She really is, and she is so nice and awesome, kicks ass in the ring. She is a great role model. You'll see so many people at NXT UK putting her over and being so proud of her after Money in the Bank and stuff, because she's that type of talent. I've been on shows with her on the indies, and I was always upset that I never got to work with her because she's that awesome. I'll show her love every once in a while on Twitter. I love that girl. So I want to see her embrace the fact that she is beautiful, she is badass, and she can kick ass and take names. To me, it's awesome. So I love it. I say kudos, keep going, take it for as long as it can go, make all that money, invest that money, do what you can, and make something that's that you're going to be proud of and give you a long-lasting, healthy career in WWE. I'm all for it. Okay, let's see. If I wasn't wrestling, what would I be doing in life right now? Well, the thing is like, I'm already doing everything that I would have been doing had I not been in wrestling. And since I'm not technically wrestling right now, I am doing everything I would have wanted to do in my life. Like, I'm a published author. Like, I know the answer to this, but ask yourselves, 6 years ago when I was in Ring of Honor, who y'all thought I was going to be a published author on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com? Who thought I was going to be a wrestling writer and contributor for Fightful.com and for Fightful magazine? Who thought I was going to be a podcaster with Vince Russo? Who thought I was going to be having this like crazy awesome YouTube channel? Like, I'm doing all kinds of and like projects I can't wait to tell you guys about, but I'm like legally not allowed to yet. Like, I can't wait to share. Like, you guys are, I just hope you guys are going to be so proud of me. Like, I'm hustling so hard for my dreams, and I want to show you guys what is possible when you believe in yourself, because you can't expect anybody else to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself first. That's why I'm going to lead into this next question. Life lessons I've learned since COVID. This is from my YouTube channel. Let me see here. Oh, and that last question about what I would be doing in life if I wasn't wrestling, that was also from my YouTube channel. So to answer that, I'm doing everything I ever dreamed of since I was 13 years old, when I wrote down everything that I wanted to do in my life. So I think that that's amazing. Like, I was I don't think I'm cool enough to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I was a woke 13-year-old. That sounds so silly. But I seriously was. I sat down one day when I was 13 years old, I'll never forget it, and I just decided, I don't know why, I don't know what gave me the idea, but I wrote down on a piece of paper everything that I wanted to do. Now, they may not have exactly worked out the way I imagined them when I was 13, because you're a 13-year-old kid, you don't know how the world works yet, you haven't gone out into the world, you haven't had experiences that change you and make you the person that you are, and make you realize that you aren't your circumstances, you define your circumstances don't define you. But I've still done them. I went to WWE. I was signed to Impact Wrestling on television, and I brought in almost 1 million viewers on one of my matches with Victoria. We had the second highest rating on the first half of the show. The only person that beat us was their champion at the time, Austin Aries. Who can say that? I can. Like, that's crazy. Crazy. Like, that's awesome. I'm so proud of that. And I loved getting to work with one of my idols who I watched on TV, Victoria. Lisa Marie Varon, aka Tara. I got to wrestle Mickie James. I got to wrestle Awesome Kong. I got to wrestle so many amazingly stunning women that aren't just beautiful on the outside, they're beautiful on the inside. And that really affects me in the positive way. I always wanted to become a published author. I always wanted to have books out there. I'm doing that. I've always wanted to be an actress and do all these things. I'm doing all of these things. So, I don't know. To me, I just feel incredibly blessed. That's why I love, giving out real positivity, not social media positivity. So life lessons since COVID, I don't know when I figured these things out, but to me, they've really played a huge role in my day-to-day life since COVID. So one of the life lessons is that a sunflower does not grow in the Arctic for a reason. And what I mean by that is not every environment is meant for you, and that's okay, A lot of you are wrestling fans, so I'll equate it to wrestling. Some people don't work out well in WWE, but they can go to AEW and they're the happiest they've ever been. Some people can leave Ring of Honor and go to WWE and they have the best career they've ever had in NXT. Why is that? Different environments, different people, different circumstances. A sunflower does not grow in the Arctic for a reason. Not everybody who's riding with you is for you. What does that mean? As you get older and you go after more of your dreams and you learn to do what's best for you and stick up for what you believe in, your circle starts to get smaller. And you have to learn to be okay with that. You don't lose real friends, you lose undercover haters. There's a difference. Not everybody who's riding with you is for you. And that's why you'll see me say sometimes on social media, in prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Because a lot of times people just don't care. They're glad it's you and not them. That's the bottom line. Empathy, even though it'll make the world a better place, it's very rare. Another thing I've learned is, you can't buy integrity in a store. Once you lose your integrity, it's gone. So keep your integrity close. Your dreams are not supposed to come at the expense of your integrity. And if somebody's asking for you to sell your soul, ask yourself the price. Is that really what you want to pay? And then the other things that I have learned is that you have to learn to be okay with being the villain in someone else's story. It's their story, not yours. Okay? Nobody deserves a pen to your life story except you. You are in control of your story and how it continues chapter to chapter and where it ends. Okay? One chapter ends, a new one usually begins until the end. So give everybody else a pencil. They can write footnotes that you can later erase with your success. You have to learn to be free with your authenticity and learn to be okay with realizing that not everyone's going to like you. There's billions of people in the world. There's bound to be people that don't like you for some reasons that could be justified and others that probably aren't. You can't change it. You can't control it. Just move on. Keep going. Do you. Okay? Be free with your authenticity. It's the most freeing thing that you can do. Nobody has any power over you once you've learned the valuable lesson of being free with your authenticity. And then, just do good in the world, and realize that, you know, don't listen to people that say life is short. Life is the single longest thing you are ever going to do, okay? Until you die, you are living. Life is long, okay? Don't be afraid to, you know, understand that it's okay to be not okay at times. It's okay to struggle with mental health. It's okay to be different. Your people are out there, and if people don't understand, it's not for them to understand because it's not their problem, it's not their issue. But there are people out there that will understand, so just keep looking for your people, and it's okay to get discouraged, but keep picking yourself back up and keep going, because your life deserves your best. You got to be the adult you needed as a kid so that you can look back on yourself one day and give yourself a subliminal high five and say, I got this, shizit. And we're going to do some epic stuff. And you can't do epic shizit with basic people. You just can't. You just can't. Your environment is everything, and that circles back to the original thing that I said about this question, is a sunflower does not grow in the Arctic for a reason, okay? You are not a tree with roots stuck in the ground. You can get up and go anytime you want to, okay? Just please, get up, do it, go after it, try it. If you fail, it's okay. Failure is a necessary step on the ladder of success. Do you, be free with your authenticity, find your environment, find your people. All right, I cannot say that enough, guys. Like that stuff right there changed my life. Completely changed my life. Now, it's not a one size fits all, but that's my advice coming from me and what helps me every day. That's such a great question. Thank you from my YouTube channel. Another one from my YouTube channel. Did I play on any sports teams in school? Yes, I did. I was in everything. And ironically enough, I think I only made it into like one club yearbook photo, but I was in so many clubs. I played varsity softball and JV softball. I, you know, got upgraded. I actually had scholarships to play softball in college. So yeah, I was a varsity athlete. Woo woo. I was on the varsity track team. I was the captain of the debate team. Yes, I was. Speaking skills. I was on the in the photography club, their team, and then I was also on the Amnesty International team, and I was on the bowling team. Yup. And then what else? Yeah, I was in so many different clubs and teams. It was crazy. I was always busy doing something, and I was wrestling. So I don't know how I did it. I've just always been a person that loves multitasking. I always have. Oh, and I was doing martial arts too, but it wasn't an official school thing. It was like an out of school thing. So I don't know if that counts. YouTube channel again. Do I prefer large or smaller crowds? I like large crowds because, I mean, just the aura is so amazing, and it makes like you putting your life on the line that much more worth it. But it doesn't take away from the fact that even if it's a small crowd, those people pay their hard-earned money to see you. So even if it is a small crowd, you really should, you know, put your all into it. I mean, don't like do something that's going to kill you or your opponent, but, you know, still perform your heart out. You know, you have to be smart. You know, pick and choose things that could end your career, you know. But at the same time too, I've also noticed that when it's a small crowd and you have people that are kind of tentative and shy, they're far more likely to get into the match and interact with the show if there's a large group of people, because they feel like the pressure is less, the focus is less on them in the crowd. Whereas if it's a smaller crowd, it's easier to stand out, and not everybody is that's not conducive to everyone. You know, some people are shy. They don't want to be seen getting into it. So I do love larger crowds for that reason and many other reasons, and it's just awesome, you know, especially like when you're doing something crazy. Like if there was a small crowd from Mandy's and my our no DQ match, that would have been like soul crushing, because I knew that, you know, I was gonna be going through a table and jumping off of ladders and like all this other crazy stuff, and like choking her through the ropes with a freaking huge chain steel thing. Like shit was gonna get crazy. So yeah, definitely larger crowds for sure. But sometimes intimate crowds too at like Beyond Wrestling and WWR, when they're up against the ring, it's challenging but fun at the same time, because I'm an opponent that loves to talk. And so it's very easy for me to interact with the crowd that way, and I've always felt very good at that. But I also am always like telling jokes to the people I'm wrestling, and at the same time I'm like calling 3 spots ahead, and I'll sell to where I need to be. So that's always a good challenge too when it's like an intimate crowd. Would I like to be booked as a good guy in AEW? Sure, why not? Bring it on. I've already got like 10 promos that I could cut. And I've already like written several storylines that could fit with AEW, that could fit with WWE and NWA. I love writing storylines. Like, people should take notice. Okay, this one was from my Instagram. This is the only one from Instagram, so I'm happy I saw it. They asked me if I am still working with animals. Yes, I am, and it's been so bittersweet, guys. That's the reason why my last Q&A Wednesday was 3 weeks ago. Was because between then and now, I had a couple of the fur babies, a couple of the dogs that I was working with. They entered into like a trial run with some families, and it worked out, and you know, they now have, they now have their forever families, and it's so awesome. But I'm really, really sad because I miss them. But you know, they have their forever families, so that's what it's all about. And so as a foster mommy, it's bittersweet, but at the same time, I know I did my job. So I love rescuing animals, working with animals and stuff. And by the way, I did want to announce right here for you guys in the middle of this video that Scooby-Doo has officially been with me, her forever mommy, for 1 year. I drove, gosh, like over 2 hours one way to get her. And I'm just super happy. You know, she was potentially going to be put on the track to be euthanized. So I am super, just so proud of her. She's come such a long way. It just makes my heart so full and happy. And she gets along so well with Slinky. So I have Scooby-Dooby-Doo and Slinky-Dinky-Doo. It is busy in my tiny house on wheels, y'all. It is crazy. But yeah, so I am still working with animals, and 2 of them just got adopted into their forever homes. So I can't wait for my next ones. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It is something I'm super passionate about. I just love animals. And my last question of the day came from YouTube. YouTube! You guys are just holding it down. I'm loving you guys. They asked me, and I will answer this. I thought about not answering it, but I will because I know it's kind of long. They asked me, what is my next adult book about? So what they mean by adult book is the fact that I originally introduced myself as a published author through children's books. I have 3 children's books out, and I'm currently working on my 4th and 5th ones, and I'm super excited. One of them is going to star a spider, and then another one is Piggy Sue, who is based off of a piggy that I fostered. And I totally called her Piggy Sue when she was born. And another one is going to star a giraffe. So I'm super excited. I'm always working on like several different projects. And then I've been working on this adult book. It's a psychological like suspense thriller. And I actually started that book in high school. So guys, like, I haven't talked to my high school creative writing teacher since I left high school, right? So he always knew that I wanted to be a professional wrestler, and one of the last things he ever said to me was, listen, I know you want to be a professional wrestler and you are already wrestling, but don't forget about this, like consider this too. And he pointed his pen down at my paper, and it was one of my last assignments, and I had an A on it, and he actually wrote exactly what he said to me out loud on the paper, and I found it years later, and I decided to turn that exact assignment with his note to consider this, which he meant consider being a writer instead of a wrestler. And I'm officially turning that into a book. And I found out that he, bless whoever you believe in, he is still alive. He recently retired from the public school system. And I cannot wait to have this book published and send him a copy out of nowhere and just remind him of the difference that he made in my life, because he didn't look down on me for wanting to be a wrestler, but he did acknowledge that I had other talent. And you know, teachers like that are just so few and far between, so I cannot wait. Like, he has no idea, guys, no idea. Like, he has no idea who I turned out to be, and I just can't wait to show him that, you know, throughout the years there was somebody listening and appreciated his efforts. So that book is because of him, and because I somehow kept a bunch of my school stuff from when I was in high school, because I was already wrestling when I took his creative writing class. So my book is going to be called Behind These Whispering Walls. It already has a cover, it already has cover art and everything, and the person did an amazing job. The book is going to be about this girl who everyone thinks is crazy, and turns out she wasn't crazy, y'all. The book is going to have parts that take place in the 1970s and during World War II in England, and it's going to just be crazy awesome. I'm super excited. It's going to be about this crazy doctor, and he becomes infatuated, and his infatuations don't end very well for the people that get in his way, and it takes like several decades for the whole story to come full circle. And so I'm just really excited about that. I don't want to give too much away, but the walls definitely have something to do with it, hence the title of the book, Behind These Whispering Walls. And they are a talking. I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this super long episode of Q&A Wednesday with me, Taeler Hendrix. I have so much more to talk to you guys about, and be sure to like this video and be on the lookout for more content heading to my YouTube channel. I have several new videos coming at you very soon.